The 2026 Player Development Summit dates have been released. The 2026 Player Development Summit will be May 29th through the 30th in Detroit at TechTown Detroit. Happy New Year to you. This video is going to give you all the information you need to know about the Player Development Summit. But as I said, the dates have been released. The 2026 Player Development Summit will be May 29th through the 30th. And I want to see you here. I want to see you there because I'm in Kansas City. It's going to be in Detroit. I want to see you there. And so this video, I'm going to give you a lot of information on what the summit is. Some of you all have heard about the 2025 Player Development Summit. You see that? Everybody signed the board right there. Y'all see it over my shoulder? Right. You've heard about that. You've seen posts maybe on social about the 2026 Player Development Summit. So I want to give you all the information you need to know about the summit. All right. So let's start off with the history of the Player Development Summit. So the Player Development Summit started in 2020. This is the fourth year. So 26, 20, 23. Started in 2023. The Player Development Summit started in 2023. And really, as it started happening, some of you all know my story. My name's Ed Jones. I was director of player development at the University of Houston, University of Kansas, and Baylor University. And so I had opportunity to speak, and shout out to Mario Price at the AFCA. Shout out to all you coaches that are at the AFCA convention. I had a chance to speak, and I was like, hey man, I would love to get player development out there at the AFCA. And so, which is American Football Coaches Association. I don't know if I said that already, but anyway, I went there. We had a panel one time, and another time I spoke, last year in Charlotte. And so, but after those times, after the first time speaking, I spoke again, and someone was like, hey, we need something for us. And I was pretty much like, hey, when y'all get it, I'm gonna be there. Like when y'all find a Player Development Summit, conference, whatever it may be, I'm gonna be there. And so I don't know if y'all know how faith works, right? Tell God your plans and he'll make you laugh or something like that, or he'll laugh at them, or anyway. So I was like, cool, whenever they make it, I would love to be a speaker. And what happened was it kind of came to me, and I'll never forget, I was in New York, and I was on the phone with Justice Jones, who was with Iowa State, the Iowa State football team at the time. He's currently with the New York Jets. And he's like, man, we need something for us. And I remember thinking, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just do a Zoom, and if people show up, we're gonna be fine. So I got 28 people who wanted to come speak. I reached out to them. Hey, I really want to create this thing that brings player development professionals and people who want to get in player development together, a place where we can grow. So 28 people said yes. And I was like, you know what? If 28 people show up virtually, it was a success. It would be a success. And 110 people showed up. And so it's been growing. So we went 2 years virtually, right? We did it 2 years virtually. So we did 2023, 2024 virtually, and virtually the next year, it was a massive success as well. And so as you do things virtually, people want to get in person. People were building relationships through breakout rooms and things like that, but people wanted to get in person. And so last year, here in Kansas City, where I am located, we had the 2025 Player Development Summit. And currently, as I'm talking about it right now, if you're watching on YouTube, there's some B-roll going on right now to show you about the 2025 Player Development Summit. And this, for me, was just, even when I look at the pictures and the videos and all the stuff, reminiscing on, last year, it's just incredible. We had our first in-person summit. It was incredible. The number one thing that stuck out to me, seeing all these people together, was although this space is growing, there are spots limited in this space, and everybody's competing for this at this level or that level, whatever it may be. And this is the first time I've been at an event, a convention, a conference, a summit, whatever you want to call it, where people were overly collaborative. Right? I didn't feel like people were jockeying for a position, or people came in and were super opportunistic, or people had their own agenda. It was a gathering of people together, coming together to continue to push forward this role of player development, player engagement, player relations, player care, whatever title you want to put on the person who helps enhance the experience of the athlete. I define player development as the enhancement of the athlete experience through holistic and intentional programs and initiatives. And so there was a whole bunch of people there doing that. And I just remember that, and just seeing the people come through the doors, and me getting to meet people in person that I've known for years virtually. People who have been on webinars, people who have sent me, hey, the podcast was great. People who have purchased the book. or some of the books that I've written. People were in my cohort, right? Meeting people I had never seen. It was just great to see this gathering of so many people, speakers coming, right? Speakers coming and taking time out of their day, their resources to be with us, to be with people. And that was just something I will never forget. I will never forget seeing all those people together there. And I'm smiling and slowing down and reminiscing. But yeah, last year was it was an incredible success. Some of the positives, like I said, is we had a plethora of speakers. We had people on the roof. We had NBA, NFL. We had people with MLS experience. We had coaches. We had student athlete development. We had people, with athletic who have been athletic directors, had an athletic director in the title. We had major companies here in Kansas City sponsoring it. It was just a great, massive success. And I'm just very, very thankful for it. I'm thankful for it. I'll read some testimonials from people here later in this video, but it was a massive, massive success. And so we're excited about the 2026 Player Development Summit. It's going to be in Detroit. And I'm going to tell you how that came about, right? It literally, after Jess Gray, shout out to Jessica Gray, she had just had a panel with Dr. Lori Robinson, and they both, we're all walking off the stage. I was the moderator. And Jess literally looked at me and was like, this has to be in Detroit next year. And I was like, well, wait a minute now. It took me a while to get this from virtual to in person. We just had a success here in Kansas City. I don't know if I want to move it, but I had a talk with Jess. We talked again, and man, Jess used to work in basketball, and Jess gave me a 5 to 10 minute recruiting pitch, and I was sold. It was that, and Detroit is the place we'll be. One thing that Jess mentioned, which I'm really appreciative of, is the support of the Black sports professionals in Detroit, the Detroit chapter of the Black sports professionals, and how they're going to help and how they're supporting. I mean, everything I'm putting out there, retweeting there, sending it to, we're getting so much reach in Detroit. This is something that I could not create here in Kansas City. And I know if we did it again, I know the right people, but it was tough to get the support from inside the city as much as I could. I know, shout out to Dr. Melissa Weintz from the Chief. She definitely supported. But outside of Dr. Weintz, it was tough to get people here in Kansas City to support there. And we already have more support in Detroit. And I haven't even stepped foot in the city yet to prepare. I've been preparing in distance. Shout out to the advisory board and the local organizing committee. And so really, really excited about Detroit and coming there and all the support we will have there. Now, let me talk to you about the 2026 Player Development Summit. Some of you all watching this went to the 2025 Player Development Summit. And so I want to tell you some of the changes that will happen in the 2026 Player Development Summit. We took a lot of data from people. Thank you all for you all who filled out the attendee survey feedback that we needed. And one of the big things was people wanted breakout rooms. In the area we were in last year, we weren't able to do it in that space. But thankfully, we have a little more funding. And if you want to sponsor, we'll talk about sponsors later. But if you're listening to this and you want to sponsor and help bring your dollars from your business, your company, or yourself to what's going on, I have information for you. But we're in a space that's bigger here in Detroit. And so what we'll be able to do in 2026 is we'll be able to have breakout rooms for the second time. We've done it virtually, but first time in person, we'll be able to have a breakout room where we'll have people in this room and people in this room. So people can follow a track or can pick, I want to hear this speaker, I want to hear this speaker. Because what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are providing what the professional needs. The people who show up here, and I'll talk about this later, are people who are in the role and looking to get in the role. So if there's someone that was looking to get into player development, hey, in this room, we're going to have people talking about looking to get into player development. And if you're in the role right here, we're going to talk about how do you get coach buy-in? How do you get resources and support, right? And I understand that that person who's going in this room needs that as well. But what we're doing is we're setting it up for when people attend, we want to meet them where they're at through the topics that we will have. And so with that, we will have the different breakout rooms there. It's going to be, the one thing that did go right, I talked about earlier, was all the interaction. You saw it in the video. You saw it in the video where I ran the B-roll. You saw the video of people together. You're going to hear about testimonials here. If you visited our website, which is in the show notes, Player Development Summit website, there are testimonials in there. And so it was a fun experience. It is a learning experience. I want people to know that. I'll talk about what to expect. But in the 2026 Player Development Summit, we're going to end it that Saturday. We're going to end it with a fun and formal experience. I can't tell you what it is yet. We're going to end it with an experience where people can come, look nice, have fun, and in the summit networking and enjoying each other's time there, because I'm a big believer that we can have fun and we can learn. I've always said you can learn and have fun, you can do work and have fun. So I want to bring that to the summit. Last year here in Kansas City, we had a networking gathering and it was a massive success. So what we're doing, we are adding another level to that. And so we're excited. Those are a couple of changes there. I will tell you what to expect. There's so much there. I also have stuff on the website as well. I'm trying to cut this video as short as possible. I don't want it to be a 40-minute video about the Player Development Summit, but I'm excited and I want to let you know about what we're doing. All right, the next thing here, these are our goals of Player Development Summit, Beyond the Field. These are Beyond the Field's goals. So I'm the founder of Beyond the Field. Beyond the Field is the creator. We are the creator. I've created the Player Development Summit. And so the goals for the Player Development Summit are for people to grow, network, and partner. So grow. We want people to grow. We want this to be the #1 professional development event for people in the athlete development, player development space. I'm going to say that again. The goal with the Player Development Summit is to ensure that this is the #1 event for professional development for anyone in the player development, athlete development space, right? That is our goal, right? That is our goal. So to do that, we have to focus on people growing. And one way we do that is, I'll talk about it later, is the speakers we bring, is the topics we have, but that's that. The next one is we want people to network. We want people to network. I know in the role, it was tough. It was me by myself at 3 universities, outside of interns, it's outside of the incredible Lauren Hawkins at Kansas. It was me by myself. And the more people I knew, the more I had support, the more I could talk to people about, hey, how are you handling this? Hey, how did you handle this with your coach? Hey, I saw you got that done. How did you do that? We want people to network, right? We want people to network at the same peer level. We want people to network with people above or below. We don't know who's hiring, right? We don't know who's hiring or who's there or who needs to know this person. We want people to know people. And then the last part is we want to partner. And this is where for me personally, when I was in the role, I really, really valued and invested in relationships I had with people who were maybe outside our program but could help me in what the role I was doing, right? So the businesses, the professionals. So this is where we want to partner, sponsors. If you are businesses, if you want to get in front of athlete development people, if you want to hire athletes, if you want to get in front of people who are impacting athletes, this is the place to be, right? This is the place to be. Your sponsorship will allow you to get in the door and partner with these people who are looking for people to partner with, right? And so those are our 3 areas: grow, network, partner. And partnership also is professionals partnering together. One thing that I love is I love seeing people leave the summit and partner together, do initiatives together, programming together, different things like that. So those will always be the goal of the Player Development Summit, for people to grow, network, and partner. Now, you may say, okay, cool. This sounds good. You talked about 2025. You talked about 2026. You talked about being in Detroit. But who is this summit for? Who's the Player Development Summit for? The Player Development Summit is for those that are in the role. When I was in the role, and this is why I wrote this book here, The Player Development Guide, which you can get on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. This is why I have 2 newsletters. This is why I've written 2 other books. This is why I post so much. This is why this YouTube has so many channels, or you all listening in your car, in your headphones, why we have this podcast, is because when I started in the role, there was no place to go. And so this summit is for people who are in the role, to get professional development, to meet other like-minded people like you, to understand what's going on at the pro level, the college level, the youth level, right? This is the international level, right? These are all the things that this summit provides, all the things those people need to know to grow in their area. This is also for people that are transitioning into the role. There's a lot of people who may not know about player development. I did a podcast you can find out here with students. Some students, sports management students, are finding out what player development is. There's a space for you here, right? There's professionals in other roles, athlete facing roles in athletics, right? It could be youth, college, or professional, and they want to get in a role. So this summit is also for people that want to transition into the role, right? Those who are like, hey, I found out about this. I like helping people. I have leadership skills. I want to transition into the player development, athlete development role. We have a space for you. There is space for you at the Player Development Summit. This is also for the leaders and decision makers, the athletic directors, right? The athletic directors, the head coaches, the presidents, whoever, right? The GMs, like the COOs, CEOs, the people that work on all levels who are interested in providing more experience, providing a great experience for their athletes, enhancing the experience of the athlete. There's a space for you here. You're welcome here, right? Because you're the decision maker. You're going to find out that these people, these professionals here are doing things that can help you win on the field, court, in competition. I have a podcast here about it, right? So there's a space for you. And then there's also a space for partners and sponsors. I said it, I mentioned it earlier. If you are a business, if you are a company, if you are an individual who wants to get in this space, you love this space, you love helping people, you love the people who help people, there's a space for you to come and sponsor. Your sponsorship is going to help so many things. I'm going to talk about it later, but you have a great space to sponsor, right? There's a place for you. Hey, I'm so-and-so company. I'm really interested in athletes. I want to come. I'm going to sponsor. I get to meet this person. There's space for you. There's space for companies to come. Maybe you don't sponsor this year, but you buy a ticket. You buy a ticket for 4 or 5 people at your company. Come see what this player development stuff is. Okay, boom. We're in here, right? There's a space for you. So I'll go recap that. This is for the people who are in the role, people who are transitioning into the role, the leaders and decision makers, and for partners and sponsors, business owners, companies, whatever it may be, you're welcome as well. All right, now some of the topics that will be discussed at the 2026 Player Development Summit. We have a mailing list. We also took information from those who attended the 2025 Player Development Summit. And here are some of the topics that you all want to hear about. So I'm going to read it straight here from my computer here. Number one topic, or one of the main topics, is how to build a real player development system. Hey, I might pull y'all in the room and give y'all that one. Y'all might get that one from me. Proving the value of player development, getting buy-in, working with coaches, admin, and those in the building, breaking into player development and actually getting hired, growing in the role from coordinator to leader, working in player development without burning out, preparing athletes for what's next, and using data to show the importance of player development. Now, those are the topics that are on the list. We are looking at the topics. We're breaking down. The way I do it is I break the topics per speaker because we want to make sure we have the people who are speaking to you, but we'll also have different topics as well. And so those are some of the topics there that will be at the 2026 Player Development Summit because you all asked for it and I am excited. Now, let's talk about Detroit. I talked about Detroit a little earlier, but I want to give you a background of why it was such an easy decision for me as the founder of Beyond the Field to pick Detroit as the place for the 2026 Player Development Summit. Now, background of Detroit. So my first time in Detroit was actually when I worked for a company and I was working hybrid for that company. So I live in Kansas City. I would go up to Detroit to work for that company. And when I went there, I'd heard about my whole entire life, Detroit and Motown and the Motor City and all these incredible things I would hear and all this history in Detroit. And I hadn't been hearing those things lately as I've grown up, right? And so I was really excited to go back. Number one thing I learned going to Detroit for work was the pride the people of Detroit have in their city. Those who are from Detroit. Whenever I would get into Uber or Lyft, you from Detroit, born and raised, right? The 313. What up, though, right? And so I enjoyed it, but it's one of the great American cities that's going through some incredible revitalization. I enjoyed the downtown area. Is one of the best downtown areas I've ever been around. If you've never been, you literally have the Detroit Tigers baseball park here. The Detroit Lions are right here. Then a little further down is where the Red Wings and the Pistons play. The city loves sports, right? It's a great city to go to. You're right there, literally on the border next to Canada, right? And it was just this, I loved going to Detroit for work because the people were great. The experiences were great. There was so much to do. And there's so much that's said about the city or was said about the city that is not true. And so I'm excited to bring people there and for people to experience what I saw there. And then there's a community of sports professionals. I mentioned it earlier. One of the strongest groups there is the Black sports professionals. They have a strong network, but there are other professionals as well that they know. And I'm just excited to see the strength of how strong these sports professionals are in Detroit. I live in a city where it is hard to find other sports professionals and to find this connection and, hey, you work here, let's meet, and or let's all network, let's all come together. It's a little tough here in Kansas City. If you were from Kansas City, you're watching this, let's change that. But I love it in Detroit. You have these people from the Tigers who know people at the Red Wings, who know people at, the Lions, who know people at the Pistons and the other sports there, the universities you have there. Got Wayne State, you got Michigan close, you got Michigan State. There's probably other universities I'm missing, but these sports professionals have this incredible bond, and I'm really, really excited to tap into that strength, because that's going to add to what the summit was. The summit, there was someone who was from Kansas City who attended the summit in Kansas City and said, wow, I haven't seen anything like this in my city, right? And so we're bringing that to a city that already has the ecosystem of strength, of connection, through professionals having their own relationships, through groups like Black Sports Professionals, right? And I'm so excited to have all these sports professionals to be a part. I honestly know and believe that there are going to be different sports and people who are going to show up based off these relationships that are there in Detroit. And so I'm so excited for the strength of connection, there in Detroit with all the sports professionals there. And like I said, it's a great American city. You can't talk about the history of the United States without talking about the city of Detroit. And with that, there's so many things for people to do. People who may show up early for the summit or stay a day after. There's a lot of things to do. I know one thing I'm going to do. All those times I worked in Detroit for work, I never went to Motown. So I know I'm going to Motown. I'm going to check out the museum. But there's so many things to do. And I'm excited for you to experience that in Detroit. The 313 Motor City. What up, though? Because we come to Detroit. I hope y'all are ready. All right, so you're watching this. You say, okay, what makes you different than this summit or this conference or this place where I can learn how to develop athletes, whatever it may be? There's a lot of options out there. I've been to many, and I'm thankful that there are options. I'm glad we're not the only one, right? Because I know that we can only reach who we can reach, and I'm thankful that there are other people that can reach others. But I will say this, what makes us different? The return on investment. I'll talk, and then I'm going to talk, and then I'm going to go to what people are saying and our diagnostic or our analysis of what people have said. But I'm going to talk first, all right? The return on your investment that you'll get from your ticket. To me personally, our price point at the ticket price point and what you'll get with that is incredible. And for me, it is strategic. I do not want to price people out. Now, we do have to make money, right, to get things and get building sponsors. This is why you're important. You can come along with that. But we have strategically kept the price point at a place where we can take care of what we need to take care of, but we don't exclude people who cannot come to the summit. And what you're going to get for that dollar, the access you will get to people in that space, right? The access, the interaction, the opportunity you will have to have a breakfast, maybe be at lunch, bump into, now we don't want you to bump into anybody, but be around someone who works in this school or at this level or is doing this internationally. For you to have that access to that person, the ticket is minimal to the exposure that you will get. And so that is one reason why I think that we're different. Another one reason, and you're going to hear people talk about it, is you not only build connection, you build community. You build community. One of my favorite quotes I heard, a testimonial, and you can watch 2025 player development testimonials up here, is shout out to Faith Gurdon and Rochelle Owens. They said that the 2024 Player Development Summit, when we were virtual, was the genesis of their relationship. That's where their relationship started. And when I hear that, that's incredible, because people aren't just connecting or, hey, you're just a LinkedIn. Hey, here's my card. People are building community. When Aaliyah Hill does something incredible at UAPB and I see 10 people who are at the Player Development Summit in person here in Kansas City saying, Aaliyah, you're doing a great job, blah, 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 congratulations. And I know, looking at that post, that these people know Aaliyah and she has a community. It's incredible, right? And so if you're looking for a community in player development, athlete development space, and you don't want to just go to a summit and be someone or just be there. Hey, I'm there. I got my tag. It was awesome. Cool. I'm gonna get on this plane. I may connect with people. If you're looking for community, you need to be in Detroit, May 29th through the 30th. Now, that's enough of me talking. I'm going to let the B-roll go again so you can see it once again. You're going to see this B-roll is going to be a mixture of the summit and our networking event where people were around and talking, and you can see people building community and enjoying spending time with each other. So I've done enough talking. I'm about to go back to my computer and get this analysis for you. All right, here are the themes of what makes us different. Number one, it feels like community, not a conference. One of the attendees said, "These are my people." Number two, it develops a person, not just a professional. An attendee said, "I grew as a person." Number three, the energy is noticeably different. Someone said the vibes were high. Number four, people feel seen, valued, and validated. Someone said there is a space for me here. Number five, the content is practical, not performative. An attendee said, the things shared here, I can apply them immediately. Number seven, it reaffirms purpose in the work. An attendee said, I'm ready to make an impact. And then lastly, it is built with humanity at the center. An attendee said, you can see the genuine thoughtfulness of those who plan the Player Development Summit. I love hearing that. I love that. Got me fired up. This analysis got me fired up, y'all. That's why I had to make this video. But that's what makes us different. You heard it there. That's what makes us different. And that is why you need to be in Detroit for the 2026 Player Development Summit. All right, now, so you saw speakers in one of the B-roll videos, and you may be asking, well, who are the speakers? Where do you find these speakers? People are saying they're getting poured into. People are saying that it's not performative. The content's great. Where are these speakers? The speakers that I have, the majority of speakers we have are people who are in the role, because I'm a big believer in player development. I can get up there and I can give you all the things I did in the role, but I want people in different places in the role. We want student athlete development people. We want people, we're going to have people from the pros, people from college, people from HBCUs, people from D3, D2. We're reaching out this year, y'all. We're going to get people there. And so these speakers, right, the thing for me is I look for people who, number one, are providing value in their role. Who is providing value in their role? It's not hard to find out. I can promise y'all that. Who is providing value in the role? Number two, I look for someone who wants to share with others that value. So we got somebody that provides value, but does this person want to share? I don't want a gatekeeper to come speak. That doesn't help us. That doesn't help me. That's not how I am. If y'all have listened to this podcast or watched these videos, you know I'm not a gatekeeper, right? Somebody told me when I started doing this podcast, hey, Jones, you giving too much information. They not going to let you back in that role. Hey, well, I'm never going back because I ain't gatekeeping, right? Unless something happens. I don't want to say I don't want to be back, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? But I want people who want to share. And number three, I want people who want to be there. I want people to want to be there. I understand people have schedules and different things they got to do and get back to their teams or whatever. But I've been to conferences where a speaker comes in, talks, and they're out, right? And there's no time for questions. And I know they can't answer every single question, but you know what I mean, right? You don't feel like that speaker, like you were just a part of that speaker's day. I want people who are going to be there, right? Hey, I like to cook. They want to just marinate in that summit goodness, right? That's the people, that's what we're looking for in speakers, right? And so we have speakers that are in the role, but we also have speakers who are not in the role, speakers who are adjacent to the role, who know about the role, because I want people to pour into you. I want people to pour into these people. When you're in a player development role, it's a lot of you pouring out. It's a lot of you pouring out. It's a lot of people, a lot of you pouring out into people. So I want someone that's going to pour into us as well. So that's the speaker philosophy. I just, once again, people who provide value, people who are willing to share, and people who want to be there. I'm going to talk about this because when we did it virtual 2 years ago, Jess Gray, Alexander Martin, Dr. Lacey Carmen Johnson, Tabrooke Blaine, Savannah Bailey, and one more person, I believe it was Gus Felder. They literally stayed on for all 3 days. They didn't have to. They stayed on for all 3 days. They were in the chat. They were, gassing people up. They were texting me, hey, I'll take a breakout room. That's what we want. That's what we want to create, right? Because it's about giving to the next generation. Y'all know me, I'm about generational impact. And those are the speakers that will be presenting to you at the 2026 Player Development Summit. People that have that heart. Now, I want to talk to you all about some real outcomes and proof about how incredible the 2026 Player Development Summit will be. This is something that happened at the 2025 Player Development Summit, and I got a little B-roll going right here. It was incredible. We went to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, so we found out that about 80% of attendees had never been to Kansas City. So we're in the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. We're about to take a tour, and the president, Mr. Bob Kendrick himself, walks up. Mr. Bob Kendrick has a knee brace. He just had knee surgery. He walks up, I see him, I go up to him and say, hey, Mr. Kendrick, if you don't mind, I have a group who we found out that 80% of them have never been to Kansas City. We would love if you could just talk to them about the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and what they're going to experience. He talked to that group for 30 minutes before we went in, and then guided them on a tour. It was incredible. Like, they knew, hey, this was something that we were like, hey, we're going to do this. If you want to show up, we'll be here, right? Not only did they get a ticket to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum tour, so if you're ever in Kansas City, please go. But they got a tour by the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Bob Kendrick himself, who is a walking history book, right? And that was a outcome. That was proof of what can happen there. I saw people gain mentors from the Player Development Summit. I saw people gain mentors. I saw people literally, like I said, I see it on LinkedIn. I see it on pictures. People are going on trips with each other. They're visiting each other at different campuses, right? They're visiting people. They're getting mentors. They're showing up. They're highlighting each other. That's a proof. That's an outcome from the Player Development Summit, right? I've seen people share ideas, do programming together, right? Do programming together or support someone else who's doing programming. That has happened because of the Player Development Summit. And I have seen people get changed jobs since the summit. The summit was in May. People have changed jobs. They went from this job to leading. Faith Gurdon went from being an assistant at Old Dominion to being a director at Miami, Ohio, right? I got to see that. And matter of fact, I'm going to read right here about Faith's experience at the Player Development Summit. Yeah, y'all thought I was just going, we got. This is what Faith Gurdon said about her 2025 Player Development Summit experience. Within my new role as Champions for Life director, a few experiences stand out to me as being helpful in assisting me in securing and maintaining this new role. The session over international athletes, along with the session over building and analyzing programming data, were both helpful as I stepped into the new role where I'd be interacting with more international student athletes compared to my previous institution. Additionally, as the new director, it became doubly important that I was equipped with skills to build out my team and the analysis skills to create useful data points for my work. The summit also allowed me the opportunity to connect with new people to grow my network, access to seasoned mentorship, and allow my growing expertise to uplift those newer to player development. So many ideas and connections were built in Kansas City that there are now lifelong professional relationships that I have already leaned on since the summit. Come on, Faith. Shout out to Faith. Faith's story is incredible. Faith got into one of my cohorts. I tried to not let Faith get in one of my cohorts, and she got in there, and she's just been doing incredible. I am proud of Faith. And it's not just, this is what I want people to understand. Player development happens at all levels. So I know people want to get in the NFL, the NBA, or college, but I want to talk to you about Jess Martinez. Jess Martinez came to the Player Development Summit, and this is what she put. Jess is currently the character coach at IMG, and this is what she sent me. The Player Development Summit taught me how to empower myself to better pour into student athletes to help turn them into the leaders they were meant to be. The speakers you brought in, along with the Player Development Podcast, taught me how to lean into my resources, not be afraid of reaching out and asking for help, creating a healthy work environment, relationships, and so much more. All of this helped create the perfect headspace for me that allowed me to adapt quickly to a new place and make almost an immediate impact on the community here at IMG. Within only a month of being here, I began to work in a second department and had multiple projects assigned to me. I honestly feel like I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't adequately prepare myself with the knowledge given to me at the Player Development Summit. That's proof. That's the outcome. That's what happens when you come to the Player Development Summit. I want this stuff, what you're hearing, to happen to you at the 2026 Player Development Summit. That got me fired up, y'all, man. Where's my water at? I got to get moving, man. I got to get moving. This is the video getting longer than I want it to be. That's awesome right there. All right, so that's the real outcomes and the proof. I just want to let y'all know that what's happening is real, right? And then here's the last piece right here. I want to talk to sponsors. Somebody's watched this entire video. You are a company, you are a business person, you're a franchise, whatever it may be. And you say, hey, I want to sponsor this, right? The reason your sponsorship matters because we're able to put this on. We're able to put this on. We're able to rent the space or the spaces we need. We're able to feed the people. We're able to provide transportation to staff, speakers, things like that, right? Your sponsorship goes along. We're able to create experiences. We're able for people to go away with an awesome name badge and a lanyard and whatever it may be. We're able to get people notes and notebooks and pens, which we'll do this year, right? That all happens because of your sponsorship. The sponsorship, you heard those two stories. Those two stories don't happen without sponsorships. And thank you to all our previous sponsors. This is a great time for those of you all who want to impact people in the space. You want to impact athletes, right? Maybe you're a company. Maybe you're someone who wants to hire. Maybe you want to get in front of people in this space. This is the perfect space for you. Your sponsorship matters. Last year, we had some sponsors who were able to get tickets for people, right? Get tickets for people. We were able to provide another meal for people, right? One day we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner for people because of sponsorships. And so your sponsorship matters, right? And what it does is it allows us, from my standpoint, it allows us to get what we need or what we deem as necessary for this to be a success. The spaces, the speakers, the staff, the different things we need, the content, whatever it may be. There's a lot. If you want to reach out to me and ask me everything we need, I'll let you know. But more importantly than that is what your sponsorship does is it creates an experience where somebody can come in and belong. Where somebody can come in, be inspired, and where somebody can come in and go out and create impact. That's what your sponsorship does. That's what your sponsorship does. And who are the people who should sponsor? You may be sitting there like, okay, you got me. Who should sponsor, right? These are for the people who are serious about this space, right? Maybe you're a financial institution and you want to hire athletes. Right? You should sponsor. Because what happens with your sponsorship is you get access to the people who are with the athletes. You get that access. You get that in-person time that you want. Those emails may work, but there's nothing like in-person time, right? Or you may want to sponsor if, you're a company that's bringing out this app or this thing that will help athletes or athletic departments, or you have this service that will streamline and make things more efficiently. You should sponsor because you will have access to the decision makers. The return on investment will be great. Or if you're a person who is like, you know what? I love Beyond the Field. I love what Beyond the Field is doing. You all are impacting thousands upon hundreds of thousands of athletes. And I just want to give my money, my resources to Beyond the Field to help continue that path. Then you should sponsor. So I have information there. The sponsorship, it's in the notes as well. But once again, you all who sponsor, you're helping with the experience, the community, and the ecosystem of player development. All right, that's the video. That's everything you need to know about the 2026 Player Development Summit. That's what you should know. I can't give you everything, but here's what you need to know about the 2026 Player Development Summit. If you have any questions, reach out to me. My email is edward@btfprogram.com. There's information in the show notes where you can find the link to the summit and everything there for you, where you can fill out our sponsorship interest form. You can join the mailing list. If you're interested in speaking, you can hit the speaker interest form there as well. Well, I'm excited to talk to you all about this. You have seen that the podcasts are minimized. I got to get prepared, y'all. This is going to be great. I have to get my full focus to this. And so appreciate you all coming to check this out while you're preparing for the summit. And I want to see you there. I know I'll see you there. You can grab my book, The Player Development Guide, on Amazon. You can grab it on Amazon. It is there. Well, thank y'all so much for taking time. I hope to see you at the 2026 Player Development Summit. It's going to be a great experience, and I want to see you there. Until then, go out and create generational impact. Don't wait. Create that generational impact today. See y'all.